All right. What's up, guys? Nittany here, back with another live stream. Today, I'm honestly just shooting the shit. I'm going to have a casual conversation with you guys. Feel free to join the chat. I'm actually in the process of uploading this to Nostr and X. So we will see if people end up joining. But honestly, there really is no point of today's live stream. I am just bored. And figured I would literally just, you know, go live. There's really nothing else but to that. I mean, so just figuring out all the details and such. Let's chug beers and stack sats together. I think that's funny. Um, Honestly, that's like the vibe of today right now. It's Friday. I'm drinking a little Coors. Cheers. Oh my god. Like I said, there's not really an agenda, so just gonna go here, post that on Nostr, and then yo, what's up, Jason? Appreciate you joining the live chat. Honestly, if you have any questions, just ask me. I'm just here to chill with you guys, talk about, some things that have been going on, whether that's the Bitcoin Core versus NOTs, or the price action recently has been a little funky. Um, it's been a lot of weird things going on that I figured it would be cool to kind of chat about, amongst my followers. I know you guys appreciate the content, and I appreciate you for appreciating the content. So just bear with me while I post this to social media. Okay, that's there. And yeah, besides that, I mean, with the whole idea with Bitcoin Core, I mean, actually, before I do that, I actually want to share my screen to show you guys, as you know, my favorite thing to share, the Timechain calendar. Right now, we're on block 911246 with a current exchange rate of 116,875, which means 856 sats per US dollar. Could probably get in the block with honestly 1 sat per VByte. So consolidate your transactions, open up Lightning channels, do anything you need on chain. Pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory, cheap, easy peasy. So yeah, if you guys don't have any questions, I mean, the main thing I wanted to focus on is just have a chat with you guys while I choke some cores, stack some sats. I've been experimenting with some different options of acquiring Bitcoin besides exchanges that I've mentioned in the past. Mainly like, I buy Strike, River, Cash App. But besides that, that's the only way. But now I've been exploring non-KYC options. Jason in the chat says, howdy, been working on my Lightning setup, running a few knots nodes on Umbrel, but never got into Lightning. That's great. I mean, it's funny because when my friends reach out, or people in general reach out, like, what do I do first? They text me, how do I spin up a Lightning node? I'm like, whoa. Hold the phone. That's not what you do first. So I hope you at least have acquired Bitcoin in whatever means necessary, have secured either software or hardware wallets, hot, warm, or cold wallets, and now you're kind of stepping into node, kind of like progressing down the path to node. So you're working on your Lightning setup. So have you checked out my previous live streams about like Umbrel and like kind of like the process of maybe opening up that first channel, selecting peers that you might want to open with in the future, kind of like have you thought about your workflow? And then Garorant, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that, but Garorant said, what's up, Ninny? How you doing, brother? I think you're a guy. What's up? Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I mean, usually I like to respond on socials or on the comments down below. But if you get me in the live chat, I always talk about how much easier it is for me to answer them, because I'm not saying I know everything, and obviously this is not financial advice or legal or tax advice, but I definitely, how I feel with anything in life is when I'm going through things, I find that I'm a visual learner, and sometimes when I'm, for instance, with nodes, a lot of times when you're spinning up a node, you don't know, the process of doing that. Like, how do you open up the right channels, or, who do I choose to do my business with? And that's kind of the most difficult part. So that's kind of like, if you can watch my previous live stream about like Umbrel, like kind of workflow and the apps I use, that probably be your best starting point if you have any questions about Umbrel, or if you just want to ask him now. And Jason says, yep, I did check out your previous videos. Got to rewatch them. Very informative. Thank you. I try to bring everything down on a level where I would understand it if I was new. Um, like I said, I'm visual. I need to see it to believe it. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And then if I'm on Nostr, what's your NPub? Thank you for asking. Let me grab that real quick. I think you can look up like living on Bitcoin, but I'll put it in the chat. This is my NPub. So it should be at living on Bitcoin on like Primal and Damus. And I post very frequently in Nostr. I think in the past when I first started up Nostr, I was very much like a couple posts here and there. But as I've come to realize that it's kind of like how the blockchain's right now with a lot of the spam. I mean, say what you want about the spam, but I find that Nostr has a lot of good value there. I'm not saying X doesn't have value. I just feel like a lot of people on Nostr are like-minded individuals that how I see myself, if that makes sense. So I like to post, if I'm doing a test with Lightning or spinning up a project like living on Bitcoin is kind of like how I see myself sharing my story there. Ultimately, I think Nostr is the layer 3 of Bitcoin. I think people think layer 0 or the base is the time chain of Bitcoin. Layer 1 would be the time chain, layer 2 would be Lightning, layer 3 would be social media, or think of like a decentralized platform to share thoughts and notes and replies. That's what Nostr really is. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, I mean, I'm here right now. I mean, how often do you guys get someone live? But let me know if you guys are drinking anything on a Friday night. At least for me, it's Friday. It's 8 p.m. Normally, I'd be doing something not as fun as this. Maybe like gaming or, I don't know, out at the bar. Not saying that's not fun, but old Coley's not here right now. She's on a little trip for work, so it's just your boy Nittany. And I don't know if I'm going to keep this video alive. I don't want this to like damage my image of, but my image is, it's not like it matters really, honestly. It's not like you guys care. It's not like I'm going to like get like a full-time job from, oh, he's live, let's go watch him and pound a couple beers. I will say though, it's interesting. When I first started making content, I think I was like, no one's going to watch this crap. I'm just going to make it. I'm going to have, the only views are going to be myself and maybe old Colby, maybe my family. And lo and behold, as I started making more content, I think I started getting more and more ideas. And it first kind of started as, if you go back to the very first beginning of like the live streams, they're all live. I mean, they're all viewable. Even some of the shorts and videos that I posted, I think the plan was to just post when I wanted to. And I think I've adapted that to be more mainstream of like ideas that come to me. But also, since I live on Bitcoin, that's something that most people don't know. Like when I say I live on Bitcoin, people are like, what are you talking about? Like, I was at a family gathering and some like very like smart Harvard grad was like explaining Bitcoin, and I just sat there and was like, I was soaking it in. I know when the time is right to say something, and in that time I didn't want to say anything because he was saying some shit that made a lot of sense to me. And jokingly, his dad, arguably just as smart, looked over at me and was like, Nittany, did you buy those shoes with Bitcoin? And I jokingly was like, I laughed, and I was like, of course I did. And I have. I bought Nike like Dunk Mochas or something. You can get like a Finish Line gift card with the Bitcoin company. So like, it's funny because like they could have pinpointed anything of me. Like my glasses I bought with Bitcoin. My watch I bought with Bitcoin. Granted, this is a SE. It's not really anything crazy. But this shirt, actually I bought this shirt a while ago, but I didn't buy it at Bitcoin. But you get the point. Jason says, I told my wife when we move out of the U.S., we're going to put our entire net worth in 12-word in a 12-word seed phrase and keeping it in our heads until we arrive in our new home. She thinks I'm nuts. I think you're nuts, but not in the way that she probably thinks. I think that's cool, and I think you got to be careful. For me, if you're I don't know how much money you plan on saving, and rule number one, you never tell someone how much you're going to put in Bitcoin. But let's just say you have $100,000 in this 12-word seed phrase. I mean, I'm not going to say that I've done this, but I've traveled with hardware wallets in airports, and I've had no issues. I had the seed phrase with me. I had the seed phrase with me at one point. I wouldn't, like I said, not financial advice, not legal or tax advice. Just my own personal opinion on that. On the Brain wallet is, a lot of things can happen. God forbid. What if you got on the plane and something happened? Not like something would. I just feel like I would tweak out, and I applaud you for trusting yourself and your wife for that. That takes a lot of balls and guts to do that. I would just keep in mind like the cons as well as the pros to that. I think unless you're really like tweaked out, unless you have like a shit ton, just like follow the BitKey tutorial I've been working on. I'm coming out with a video very shortly about direct deposit. Just split your holdings across multiple wallets, and you can bring your. It's not like TSA is gonna be like, what's this USB stick? You can just pick, oh, I have my school project on it. Depending on your age, you could be like, oh, I have work documents. You know, they're not gonna ask. But if you, all the power to you. If you want to go and memorize a 12-word seed phrase, that's impressive. But yeah, I'm glad that we agree on that. Yeah, I mean, one thing I've learned about significant others in this world is most of the time your wife or your partner is right. It's like when the wife's happy, the kingdom's good. Like happy, like there's a quote like that. I don't know exactly, but I don't know if you've watched some of my videos, but in the past I've talked about how old Coley was very hesitant to the idea of me doing the Bitcoin standard part, like switching most of my money, well, pretty much all of it, into Bitcoin and then spending that and then saving the rest. And at first she was very much against that idea of you got to be careful. You know, what about the bear markets? What about the price? And that's fine. We all are. How do I say this? A lot of us are still in that fiat mindset. I'm guilty as that. I'm currently in that mindset. Sometimes I feel like paying bills with Strike is a little tedious, and as far as like the fees and then keeping track of all those transactions. But at the end of the day, you're sharing your life with someone, you know, especially you have a wife. Just make sure she's like, obviously, okay with the idea, and like you're not like pressuring her, because I pressured old Coley sometimes, and I could tell that it was bothering her, and she doesn't have to say anything, but I know, like, how do I say this? You know, you find the right balance. I think you need a yin and yang to find a exact. You might as well say you figured out women. Actually, don't say that. It's bad luck. Exactly. I mean, you got to find the right balance, especially dealing with Bitcoin and in finances in general. They're very taboo. It's like marijuana. Not saying I smoke. I don't. But it's a very taboo subject to, you know, do certain things in today's world, and it's a little more acceptable nowadays just because of culture and society has changed, but and norms as we know it have changed. But yeah, it's all about finding that like happy place. So for me with old Coley, I said, look, I'll make a spreadsheet that tracks buying, selling, income, expenses, transactions, everything in between. And she's seen that. She's seen like the ROI from the start of the year to now, even as the price has fluctuated in sats, Bitcoin, and dollars. She's starting to get the concept of saving our time and energy into Bitcoin instead of the dollar. We even just talked about this yesterday. We were looking at her budget, and I was like, how the hell am I spending double what I spent 2 years ago? You can argue people getting married, we're taking trips, we're buying nice things. When I say nice things, I'm not buying Gucci flip-flops. Like Hugo Boss, Ralph Lauren, like Lululemon, like that stuff, a little more often than I used to. And I feel like beside putting that stuff, like the materialistic stuff to the side and focusing on day-to-day stuff like rent, bills, utilities, groceries, um, random things that just you have to kind of spend your money on, that's gone up 50%. So like I'm looking at my budget, I'm like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way at all, or in different parts of your life and you can just afford whatever you want, but or you broke as fuck. um, I'm looking at my budget and I'm sitting there, I'm like, how are we spending double? And my income's only gone up so much more, not much. And I'm finding that the answer is, you already know what the answer is with Bitcoin, obviously, but old Coley's starting to realize that. And she's like, well, maybe this thing, I'm starting to come around it. And funny enough, I actually might have bought something for her just so she can play around with. And if you can guess in the chat, I'll send the first person, it's a hardware wallet. If you, the first person to guess in the chat what I got her, you get 1,000 sats. Just make an invoice and I'll send it to you. So have fun. It's something to do with something I've done recently. So it's, I just gave you so many hints. I'm just sending out sats. It's really, no one writes Alby sad, honestly. But yeah. So I honestly appreciate whoever's in the chat. I know Jason, Galorant, and whoever else is one other random person. I don't know. But thanks for tuning in. Marcelo, what's up? You're getting on a lucky streak right now. I see you on X and Nostr posting it up and getting those wins. I know I myself have sent you some sats, so thank you for the support. Marcelo, you just joined in Buenos Aires. Wow. So, yeah, Jason, you're right. It was the BitKey. So I got Old Coley the BitKey as a little gift because it was on sale. I actually have a sale. I have a code myself. Jason, put down a invoice for 1,000 sats. I'll zap you some sats right now. And the BitKey, to me, in my opinion, I've experienced with the cold card, the ledger, the tap signer, all those other things that, you know, are good wallets, minus the last one I just mentioned, not the tap signer, the other one. Starts with the L, ends with the R. If you have that one, that's fine. Just maybe look for other options. And I think besides those ones, I think there's more options out there, like the Blockstream Jade Plus or the original Blockstream Jade, the Passport Prime. Those are all things I'm looking forward toward the future. One of my followers mentioned that they had that, or they were going to get that in the mail, and I asked them to let me know how it was. So we'll hear back from them soon. And Marcelo, you're never late. The fact that you're here means a lot. So thank you. This was a last-minute live stream. I really didn't. I was telling the guys earlier. I just decided to go live. So I was like, why not? I don't even know who was going to join, so I appreciate you guys coming. I remember I used to make these videos like before I would post them online, and I would just like kind of watch them like months later, kind of like a boot test, like a trial period of like, can I make content online? Is it providing value? And I think from what I'm getting, the responses on Nostr have been going. It's been going well. Marcelo, you are right. We were guessing a wallet. I mentioned that I got my partner, Old Coley, a hardware wallet, and I said the first person to guess got 1,000 sats, and Jason got it. It's the BitKey, so I'm waiting on him honestly, or them to send me their Lightning invoice, and I'll just zap that over. One thing I've been a kind of a separate part of this idea of, you know, a couple things we talked about already, but acquiring Bitcoin is non-KYC, and I'm kind of wondering if you guys have any tips or tricks on that. It's something that I've looked into recently. The video that I made about my Umbrel node, that video was focused on the node that I created, Nittany, and I've since turned that node down. I've turned it off and I've spun up a new one, just because I realized that I think the focus of that node was wrong, and I think what I wanted to do was make it more, I don't want to say like non-KYC, but more focused on what my needs would be. And if anyone in this chat wants to open a channel with me, let me know. We can talk about it. I like, you know, furthering my reach on the network and also helping you out in the same way. Um, so that's kind of like one thing I wanted to talk about was, besides Bitcoin Core and Knots, um, hardware wallet for Old Coley, the balance between yin and yang with your partner about Bitcoin, and talking about non-KYC accumulation. And, yeah, Marcelo, the Bitbox, that's a good guess. That is I've heard of that device. I've never had experience with it, but if that's something you use, let me know in the chat. How is it going? I know they have different firmwares. I think there's the Bitbox for like the altcoins, and then there's also the Bitcoin only version. And then I'm gonna call you Rant. I think Garo Rant. I'm gonna call you Rant. If that's okay. Bro, when did you discover Bitcoin? I discovered Bitcoin in 2016. Now, don't think I bought then, and I'm a multi-centillionaire. I obviously am not. I bought it in. I was at work. I very vividly. I remember being at my maintenance job in like high school, and I remember watching on like the news TV. They had like the CNBC channel, and looking up and seeing this chart that at the peak of the market, I think it was 2018-19 when the market peaked. I can't remember exactly, but essentially it was at 19,000. I was like, what the hell is this? Why is everyone talking about this Bitcoin thing? And I kind of brushed it off, and then a buddy of mine approached me and was like, hey, like, you really should buy some of this. Like, what about this Dogecoin, Litecoin, Dash, I don't know, a bunch of other altcoins. And I put like $50 into Bitcoin, and the next day I sold it. And then I forgot about it for like literally 4 years or something like that. And I remember being in college in my fraternity, and like we called it like the trap room, like the party room where we just kind of pre-gamed. And one of the brothers came up to me and was like, hey man, like they're talking about Bitcoin, you know, you're drunk, you're just talking about it. And I remember thinking to myself like, oh my God, I forgot about that. It's still around. It still exists. What's the price? And I asked him, and it was like $8,000 or something. And I remember looking it up and then saving it in the tab. Like, you know, you can save your tab when you shut down Safari. I literally had it. I had it there. The price was there. Like and I even looked up the next day how to buy Bitcoin, and then it just fell off my radar once again. So that was the second time. And then the third time was in 2021, almost at the peak of the last bull market. So it went up, went down, and then went back up. I bought around 50,000, like $50, and then the next day I sold again. So the third time, sold. And then lo and behold, 2021, the bear market, I dug that hole, and then I also got this in the boom. And as you can tell, it's been a long road since then. But yeah, that's kind of when I got in. And Vake said, hey, the Bitcoin Tony Soprano, forget about it. Hey, I still thought about that t-shirt. I actually designed it, and let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, I don't have my what do you call it? Hold on, guys. I have it. I actually like drafted up like a design of a t-shirt. I don't think I'm gonna make it because I kind of inquired about how much it would cost to what do you call it? Get the shirts, like the minimum order quantity, and oh, it's funny. All right, let's see. All right, here it is. Let me see if I can pull it up. Screen, window. Yeah. What do you guys think? What do you think about that? Isn't that funny? So something like that. It looks terrible, but like in my head, I had this idea of like the Bitcoin B or my logo on the pocket, like a comfort color shirt like this, black or like a washed black. In the back, I had this vision of like a big forget about it with the Bitcoin B. I tried drafting it up in like Photoshop, and it was so hard. I don't know why. I just couldn't do it. And I am a content creator at heart. I do videos, photography, drone work, social media. So that's kind of like where Bake brought the idea. I don't know if you're the same person that mentioned on Nostr, but I took that idea and ran with it. So that's so funny. Yeah, Rant, you're right. Yep. I did my work in the bear market. I remember very vividly pulling up my laptop at old Coley's parents' house and the big flat screen TV. And I remember her dad walked in, and it was like Gemini. And I remember I put in like advanced trader, and it was like, the charts. I was like analytics, TA, everything. And I remember like telling her dad, like, look, I'm buying it at 33,000. And dude, it just like that moment in time, like the bear market was I know like it was a terrible time. Banks were going bankrupt, people were losing money, people lost jobs, people lost X, Y, and Z. However, I think we all can agree if you've gone through a bear market, you know how quiet things are, and that's when you work, you dig down, you hunker in, and you figure out things, and that's kind of like what I did, and now we are here today. So, yeah. Marcelo says it looks great, black and orange, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, black and orange, Bitcoin B. You can't say anything. You can't hate on it, right? So I'm gonna work on that. Maybe I'll make something at some point. Maybe do it as like a fun little drop. I probably wouldn't ask for anything. Maybe people pay for shipping or something. I don't know. Bake says whenever someone says they're a content creator, I assume they have an OF. Hey, I don't have an OF, but I know what you mean. It's funny, before OF was a thing, I would tell people like I'm a content creator, I create content, and they thought nothing much of it. Nowadays, like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I make content. They're like, what type of content? And I'm like, yo, pause. Not like that. Is there anything you guys want? Any questions like about Lightning nodes, Bitcoin Core versus Bitcoin Knots, um, mining? I've been making content about um, Alby Hub, spending Bitcoin, living on Bitcoin, Bitcoin spreadsheets, how I keep track of my whole living on Bitcoin journey. Um, Literally, like, guys, like I'm telling you, like open book within reason. Um, if you have questions, ask them. And if you ever come up with them after the fact, just feel free to drop them in the comments below. I can always try my best to write down my thoughts. In the meantime, I'm gonna check Nostr, see if anything. How do you? So Bake says, how do I convince my friends to stop procrastinating and get to stacking sats? So this is something that I've had experience with, like most of us. It's 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 like anything in life. When you tell someone to do something, 99% of the time, they're probably not going to do it. I think what takes your friends and whoever you're trying to orange pill, so to speak, to get to the point of stacking is showing them what it's like, or giving them an opportunity to kind of experiment with it. And you're right. I'm too busy. I'll wait till the price crashes. You're not alone. A buddy of mine actually was like, well, I told him years ago. Like, I told everyone actually. What am I saying? I literally told in 2022 when I first got into it, like really, like as I was saying, digging into the rabbit hole. I said, you guys really got to check this out. Like, read this book, buy some sats, just have 1% of your net worth into it. Now everyone's like, man, I wish I bought it. I'm like, you get the price you deserve, but you never tell that to someone that's trying, that comes around, because then they kind of feel like, why is he saying that's kind of rude? Just be, hey, you know what? That's okay. The best time was to buy Bitcoin was yesterday. The second best is today. That's what I usually say. You get the price you deserve. People usually come around at some point when it just clicks with them. It clicked for me after 4 times, and you're talking 2016 to 2022. That's 6 years it took me to fully grasp the idea. And Marcelo says, what's the last that what? Oh, are you saying like what's the last thing that surprised me, or what surprised me most about Bitcoin? I'm assuming it's something like that, and it's okay. You can't speak English, no worries. Um, if you need to write like Spanish or Italian, I might be able to translate it. I can read it, but I can't speak it. Um, the last thing that surprised me was how easy it was to set up a Lightning address and get paid. Like, you know how when you on the Lightning Network, when you just generate a last surprise. Okay, I got it. You know when you generate a Lightning invoice, you have to put the amount of Bitcoin in, and then that person will send you the sats. What surprised me the most was I remember like a year ago or 2 years ago, I was like, why can't I just like generate a Lightning address, kind of like how on-chain works, and people can just send me the amount. And I was looking up online, and one random day, like someone posted something, and I saw this like LN URL address, and essentially it's like an email address. And I was doing research, and I found that Alby Hub has that. And Alby Hub recently launched like a bigger platform, like more cloud-based software, or like a situation and platform rather, and you're able to download that on like a personal Bitcoin full node, and you're able to basically generate your own address. So when I send like something like this, like if I say Nitney at get Alby, you don't have to send me anything. I'm just saying that's what mine looks like. I recently changed it to that. That basically when you load that into your Lightning wallet, and as soon as you put in the address, it automatically starts occupying my note. It's pulling information from my notes. Like this person, let's just say Marcelo wants to send Nitney 100 sats. It makes an invoice right then on the spot for 100 sats, and then it makes the payment. So that's the most recent thing that really surprised me, how easy it is to just do that. And then Jason said, Jason says, when I generate a Lightning invoice, it's too long to post here, and I can't share a QR code. What method should I use to share an invoice? Just exactly what I just said. Do you have like Strike, Cash App, Speed, Zebedee, the Bitcoin Company, BitRefill, Fold, the Bitcoin Company, not Bitcoin, Bitcoin Well, basically anything that can have like an email address that's tied to like it usually is labeled as like a Lightning address. If you have anything like a Lightning address, that's probably the easiest. And also, if Jason, if you just want to just message me on Nostr, a Lightning invoice or a QR code, like you could just save it as a photo, and I can pay it as well. It's no big deal. And then Marcelo says, Vake says, I have a friend that I've been telling to buy Bitcoin since 2013. He still hasn't. Wow. How does he feel now? Probably like an idiot. Not saying he's an idiot, but in the sense of probably should have bought it. I told you so. That stinks. If someone told me to buy it in 2013, I probably would have waited 6 years at that point. So I would have gotten it 2019. that still would have been fine with me. So you're a good friend for at least mentioning it that early on. And Marcelo says, for me, Bitcoin is awesome. You can send digital money to anywhere in the world instantly with very low fees. And that's right. I mean, you couldn't have said it better than that. And when you mean by like send anywhere in the world, there's no middleman. No one's telling you can't send that money. You mentioned you're from Buenos Aires. If you had someone in the United States trying to send you money in the traditional fiat rails, they're going to have to use Western Digital, Internet Wire. That has a lot of fees, takes time. Bitcoin, especially with Lightning, takes seconds. And yeah, Speed wallet invoice shorter than yeah. I mean, I know Speed has a you can have a Lightning address as well. Jason says I have Zeus and Aqua as well. Zeus, depending on how you have Zeus set up, if you have Zeus as a self-hosted node that's connected to your own personal node, you can't. I don't think you can. You can actually go into your settings. Let me see if I can show you on mine. I'm not going to do mine just because it does take a fee, but not. It's like a %, but it makes it a little bit easy. Aqua, you have to generate. Oh, I forgot to put my tail scale on. Aqua, you have to generate an invoice. I actually don't like Aqua sometimes because it's just so confusing. For me to keep track of these transactions, you have to talk about the swapping of Lightning and Liquid, or on-chain Liquid and Lightning. It's just a whole... Forget about it. But Aqua's a great wallet besides the fees and then keeping track, and that's just me being anal about keeping track of things. So, Jason, if you go to Zeus, and if this is self-hosted by your custody of your node. You go to the settings, so you go top left with like the hamburger, like the slices, top left. You go to lightning address. It's gonna give you like something like this. You probably can't see it, but basically what it says is there's a zap locker and then there's remote. So if you set up a zap locker, I think you can. Oh, never mind. You can't do it. You have to have a channel with Zeus LSP. That stinks. But if you have a remote non-Nostr wallet connector or Nostr wallet, do you have like Nostr at all, Jason? Do you have like a Nostr account like Primal or anything that you can generate like an address or something? And Alice says, I wish here in my country we had internet in 2013. You didn't have internet in 2013? Where are you? You don't have to say where you're from, but man, you didn't have internet, like accessible internet in 2013? Wow. I know in Africa, there's this thing with like radio or NFC or Bluetooth. I know they're able to do stuff through like that type of thing, like especially with I think Tando or There's like a wallet in Africa. It's called Tando, and it's through phone numbers and kind of like that type of cellular. It's not like data, but it's like I don't know how to say it better than that. You don't need like cellular or Wi-Fi. Jason says, no worries, just curious on the best way to request data in Lightning. Yeah, I mean, the best way to pay and receive in Lightning is through Lightning URLs. It's probably the easiest. Or just making an invoice. That's what I would do. I mean, I don't know how you acquire Bitcoin, but if you have Strike or Cash App or another, I don't think River has like an @ you can send your @ and that's an easy way to send too. Shit, I've been going for live for 37 minutes. Anyone else have anything? I'm noticing people coming and leaving, which is funny. I'm wondering if people are actually like, if it's my family and friends joining and they're just like hopping in and out, or they're actual like people. Marcel, you're right. I mean, like I said, when I follow you on Nostr and X, you got. I mean, I lost count. You got a lot of Lightning addresses. So I don't know how you keep track of all that. Excuse me. That's what's nice about me having Alby Hub. I'm able to just have one address that goes right to my nodes with self-custody. And I think you can download Alby Hub and you can have a free account. I don't know if I think you have to pay for like their node option on the cloud, but it does take the headache out of doing it yourself. And it is self-custody, so the value, the ethos of Bitcoin are there with that whatchamacallit, process. I'm gonna grab another beer and go to the bathroom. Come with guys. Put your questions in the chat. I'll answer them. Be right back. Don't leave. Holy smokes. Wow. You guys ever drink a lot of beer and you break the seal? Let's just say that happened. All right, I'm back, guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm here. Probably not gonna stay any. I'm at 40 minutes. I'll probably do another maybe 5-10 minutes, depending how it goes. I will say I'm working on some cool projects for you guys. I have a new app that I tried out recently. Working on that Cash App plus BitKey video kind of series. I have another video coming out for that. I'm also thinking about making a video tomorrow about living on Bitcoin. I have a live stream next week. I got a lot of content. I'm hoping to break up the YouTube shorts because those are recycled content and I'm able to kind of make content but also show shorts. So I'm trying to do that. And Marcelo says, what the wallet was Foundation? Yeah, I think we were talking about in the beginning with Foundation was just wallets that I haven't tried but I'm looking into. I can't remember who mentioned it in the chat, but they said that they pre-ordered the Passport Prime Foundation's like flagship model. It's got like two-factor authentication keys, file storage, all those things that can essentially normally you can't put on a hardware wallet, but they've done it. So it's just a cool wallet. It's like the Cold Card Cube, but more of like a cellular device style with like a screen and stuff. I don't have that one. It's something I've looked at, but it's not something I need right now. But maybe in the future. Jason says, yeah, Philadelphia. I got friends in Philly. Go Eagles! You're probably happy about the Super Bowl last year. This year, let's hope for Saquon Barkley. I don't think I'm going to get him though in my draft. I'm pick 6 right now. There's no way I'm going to get Saquon. Oh, you're just trying to guess for sats. I asked this a while ago. Jason guessed at BitKey the correct answer. I got Old Coley for random guess. Have you used a seed signer or a seed keeper? I've never used it. I know the seed signer you can either build it yourself or you can buy it pre-made. Yeah, I mean, anyone would be happy for another Super Bowl. I have a lot of Eagles friends. I'm a Giants fan. They suck. Maybe this year they'd be good. Yeah, seed signers, the only thing I could think of that how I'm a little hesitant is the idea of it's kind of like the blockchain J where you take a photo, you have to put in on the QR code, like piece of paper, like the dots of the QR code to recover your seed. I just feel like I would mess that up and I would lose my funds. So if you're able to do that without messing it up, or you know there's a better way to go about it, and maybe it's something I haven't seen, then it's definitely a great option. I know it's more DIY, which is it's like you're running a node. You're trusting yourself. So I can understand that pro, I guess, or what's the word I'm looking for? Appeal. Nittany is my name. I obviously don't. My real name is. I'm not gonna say it, but my Nittany is kind of like what I go by. You can still use. You can still use 12 or 24 words. Is it annoying to type or like select the? I guess with the word list though. Let's just say that one of the words is like dog. I don't think that is one of the words, but when you go through the selection of the letters, it probably pulls up the most likely word, or like I'm trying to think of a good one. I think benefit's a word. Jason says you don't need to use. Yeah. I know there's other ways to do it. It's just the whole QR thing scares me. I don't know why. But you're right. I probably should look into it again. You're right. I'll look into it and kind of see the pros and cons of it. I just feel like I'd mess something up with it. Marcelo says, where are you, Nittany? I'm currently in the United States of America. Obviously, obvious. I'm in Pennsylvania. I don't want to give out exactly where I'm from, obviously, but I'm in PA. I'm not in Philadelphia, so Jason, we're not too close, but we're not too far. I kind of travel. I'm not a nomad, but I do travel. I've been to Long Island. I've been to Alabama, Texas. So Marcelo says, "I like your English designer." Yeah. So it's funny you say that because if you look at like a New Yorker or like a Southern person or Midwest or Jersey or Boston, they Marcelo, I'm sure you've met people from America that talk like this or forget about it. I'm gonna take a walk with the dog or hillbilly. Like I can't do it. I'm not from the South, but I like to think that my accent is like doesn't even sound like anything. It probably just sounds like normal. So when I talk to other people from other countries, they're like, "Why do you sound so?" I don't want to say normal or like, but there's no like identifying place. Like, it's just like you sound like a good speaking, like what you how you wrote it. I just speak English that you understand it. It's just funny that you said that because I always think about that. Because my fiance is from Long Island, and I have friends from Jersey and Boston. Boston's just loud. Long Island's just like water, dog. I'm like, okay, you don't need to say it like that. Just tell me you're gonna get a water and you're gonna walk your dog at the park, and you're gonna grab a coffee. You're not gonna say coffee. Like, it's like as someone that doesn't speak English, you're like, what are you saying? Sometimes, Marcel, you're not alone. I say that. I'll listen to some people like, water? I don't know. It's funny. Or also in the South, it's just, I laugh. Um, but Marcel, speaking on like English pronunciation, people in the United States, they speak fast. How when I hear Spanish or Italian or French, it sounds fast to me, but it might be slow to them. So you're not alone. We speak fast. Boston. Yeah. Jason, you said it's annoying, but I don't use it often to be that. I got it. I know what you mean. I mean, I've never thought about it in a sense of getting it. I don't know why. I never really thought about it. I never put much thought into doing it. Maybe I'll look into it. I mean, the cool thing about content creation for like the Bitcoin world is like I can buy, excuse me, anything, and I can get what I want. Make content about it. Yeah, I don't. That's another thing. Philadelphia, you say water, water. I can't even do it. One of our friends says water, and I'm like this, I'm like, water. You need to get water, water. It's just funny. And then Marcelo, another thing. We're getting off topic, but this is how my life is. You know what like a sandwich, like a deli sandwich. There in America, there's hoagie, hero, sub. Like what are we doing here? It's funny. I don't know. Yeah, we speak the Bitcoin language. Look at that. You got it. You hit the nail on the head. All right, I'm pretty much cooked. I'm trying to think of anything else I can think about. Unless you guys have any questions, I'm probably gonna hop off. I might keep this live stream on. I might do this again, depending on my schedule. I do have a lot of client stuff coming up for my other business that I run down the line, where I'm locally making content. So we'll see if I'm able to do this Friday. I mean, do you guys like this? Like this kind of like nonchalant, kind of like whatever we talk about. I blame it on the beer. I don't drink really ever. Not as much as I did in my fraternity days, but I feel like I'm able to interact with you guys more, and it kind of builds that trust and a relationship with my followers. So it's weird to say followers. I don't even think I have anyone that follows me, but it seems like I do, so it's cool. Jason, you say you have to force yourself to say water. I mean, if someone gives you shit, just give it back. Give it back to them. People say that I have an accent sometimes from where I'm from originally, from Rochester. Rochester. With garbage plates and shit. Like, people say I have an accent. I don't think I do. They just make fun of it, Rochester, because it's not really a good place anymore. At least the city part of Rochester is not the best as far as, like, safety. Like most cities in America, but the suburbs are good. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. I'm definitely going to do this again down the line, like a Friday little late night live stream, stack sats, drink some beers. I didn't buy any Bitcoin, but I bought some today. So funny enough, right before it went up. Isn't that funny? I didn't even think it was going to go up today. I was like, oh, it's going to keep going lower or something like that. People are just being like, oh, the top's in. I don't think the top's in. If it's in, it's in. We're here for the long term, right? So with that in mind, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys in the chat. I have content coming next week. I'll be live on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 o'clock UTC time. But I think most of us are on this North America, Central America, South America, as far as I'm aware. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, should be stacking sats Saturdays. Hey, Saturdays aren't a bad day to buy. All right, guys. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.